Hello you beautiful peeps, my name's John, welcome to my channel. Finally we get back to the studio and bring this beauty with us. We've had quite a lot of time outside with this car right now. We did the original unboxing review, we've been to the sand and grass, we've done the 2S and finally the 3S speed run that you've already seen, and in that you saw that we had quite a big impact into a steel shipping container. Out of control, it's out of control. Out of control! Well, all that was one pin. That tiny little pin there that I've replaced, and it's back to fully operational condition. Now, you may notice that the electronics are out. That is because I had to clean it because it was just so full of WD-40 and sand that it was just unworkable. Every time I even just touched it, I got it everywhere. So I had to clean it. It was driving me nuts. So what are we doing today? We are stripping down the diffs and seeing if it's got grease in there. WLTOYS, have you put grease in there? It does kind of look like it, but I don't know how much. So we're going to strip it down anyway. So this is the WLTOYS 184016, and you're watching John Robinson RC. So, what does she look like? Ta-da! Really quite good, actually. Now I did cheat, that's why the electronics are out. I literally sprayed it with a very, very mild cleaner and sprayed it in the shower. Got rid of it all. You need to be careful with that because obviously water can go into the differentials and into the electronics, but in my case I'm taking the differentials apart anyway, and I was very careful around these two items. The servo should be relatively not waterproof but splash proof. Some are waterproof, but whether that is I do not know, and this one is pretty well sealed. I will be going along and certain areas adding a little bit of oil to bearings and whatnot, but I'm going to leave that for the next video because we're going to be stripping down this beauty and comparing it with the WLTOYS 144001. So what do we need to do? Well, obviously the electronics are usually all here, so if you've not taken your electronics out, you're going to have all of these wires here, but it will be exactly the same process because all of this and the receiver and everything is all attached to this anyway. So all that will happen is you just pull the top this off when you're disassembling it, but obviously, you know, it's a lot easier for me to show you all with that removed. So what we got is 1, 2 screws, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 little ones, 7, 8 at the rear. So let's get on. So let me show you. These are the screws for the very rear. These are the screws for here. This is just in case somebody gets them all muddled up. These are the screws for the steering column here. I'm putting them closer because I know I'm going to need some space for the other screws. And these ones here are for the very front diff there. So now my one comes off, but as I said, if your electronics are there, you can just pull it over like that. See the reminiscence of the mess. Ooh, googie. Right, so you have to pull out this stopper here. Ooh, and that one there, okay? Or just drop it down so that you need tweezers to get it out. I am going to just quickly wipe stuff as I bring it out because it will be easier when I put it back together. There was a lot of WD-40 and I'm not under exaggerating that. I brought half of the beach of sand back. So we then have obviously the steering, you can see now comes off, so be aware if you look here, these bearings here all come off. One, I get that one as well. 2, and then 3, because these are obviously the ones underneath, and 4. I'm keeping these safe to one side, and we will remember to put them in afterwards. You have to get this out of the way so that you can get to the 2 screws here and there. So, I use this tool to get off the ball joints here. Let's do it that way. There we go. There and there. But if you don't have one of those tools, these are my favorite. You just grab this and you plop it off like so. So we'll just get those out of the way for now. You have one, two, three, 4 screws to get into the front. I will say straight away, make sure you see which direction the diff is facing. So if the large gear is to the right hand side or the left hand side. Yes, it seems I'm learning, ladies and gents. Oh, come on. These are the 2 from the front of the diff. And these are the 2 from the rear, and they look pretty identical. So now that comes off, and as you can see, the gear is to the furthest away from me. So inside there is minimal grease. That's a little bit disappointing. Not really a lot there, but let's just put that to one side for now. There are a lot of people that think getting into the diff is difficult, scary, and they don't want to attempt it themselves. I get it. I do. The very first time I did it, I was a bit concerned, but that's why I made the videos, to help those that haven't done it before. Not really a great deal, is there? But does this work? And what does it sound like? Actually sounds dead silent, so I think there is grease in there. Are WLTOYS learning? Finally, after how many models now do they have? A few. So that is tiny. That really is quite small. So I don't want to chew these up, so I will make sure that this fits first, which it does. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that have to come out. Now I am going to be careful, because if there is grease, I'm not going to take it out and put in new. Mind you, I do like my white lithium grease, don't I? Let's have a look. Oh, that's not a lot, is it? Let's bring you down. Show you. Not a lot, is it? Not enough by far. So, what you need to do is take the top out, keep an eye out for any small washers, like so. I will show you where they go in a momento. Get off. And be very careful when cleaning these as well, because they get stuck to the paper, and then you throw the paper in the bin, and then you've got to go diving for it afterwards, which has happened to me more than once, let's be honest. These are very small. So give them a good clean. And then if you look on the back of those 2, they have 2 washers, and washer and washer. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 washers as well. So it makes it nice and simple. They all had a washer, or shim, as what they are called, because again at the start I didn't quite understand the difference between the shim and the washer, and from what I've learned along the way, the washer is slightly thicker. A shim is more for gap closing, solving a gap issue. By putting a shim in, what you're effectively doing is moving the cone gears closer, therefore getting a much better grip onto the gears here, and obviously inside there. So see in the grooves here, there's just some grease I'll just get out what I can. I'm not, as I said, I'm not going OTT. Mixing white lithium grease and these, a little bit of this won't hurt it, but if it's a lot, then you really should give them a good clean. Nice. Right. Hit the bin. What's going on? Constantly asked about what grease I use. This one, absolutely brilliant. Don't use other coloured greases because they're for different purposes. The white is specifically for metals and plastics and can tolerate heat. So about that much in this small differential for now. So to put it together, I'll show you these pins first. See how they've both got grooves in them? They need to be crossed like that finally. So basically the bottom one faces up and then the top one faces down and they go on top of each other. So we require one of those and a washer. And then I'll hold it this side. One of those. Ooh, come on. Fair enough. Doesn't want to play ball today. Like so. So if you see in here, you have the screw holes here, but it's this groove, obviously over to here. Ooh. And then in between the screws there, this groove over to there. So we shall put it in the groove. Do not push it all the way down because then you won't see whether it's actually facing upwards, and then you're going to have to take it all apart and start again. So just gently push it into that position. Get the other one. Like so. Let me see roughly where the gash is. Okay, it's facing up, so I need it facing down. Into position. Like so. You can see it's actually already facing down. There. See that? See how it's now sitting on it? Not 100% perfect, so let's turn it around a little bit. There you go. Come on, there you go. Now you'll see. So when you get to that point, you can push it down. Do not be tempted to turn it now because you can then just sort of pop it back up again. That seems like enough grease. Smidge. It's very, very, very small differential. So line up the screw holes. Are they bolts? They're screws, bolts. Okay. No, that's not those. What am I doing? Whew. I thought they seemed a bit thick. Just like the user. Don't be tempted to tighten them all up straight away. I just put one in to hold it in. And then you would tighten up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back to 1, 2, 3, 4. Do not over tighten because you can actually just push all the gears so closely together that it can't turn. And it sounds. There you go, wonderful. So let me just tidy these bits up a bit. Oh, nice. I mean, that's just not enough, ladies and gents. That's shocking. Be aware when you're putting this back together, there is a bearing here. You have to make sure that that's in position. On the 144001, there's 2 bearings that you have to worry about, but here they've only used the one. Gear goes away from yourself, put it in, and then if you just drive the wheels forward, oh, there you go. Come on. There you go. You can see that that's actually turning forward. so we know that that is correct. What's that doing off? Ooh. Okay, that doesn't look right. So, right, now we need some grease in here. So, there we go. Make sure that that's sitting in perfect position. I'm not going to put the CVD dog bones in right now because I'm going to show you how to do that afterwards in case somebody can't quite manage that. So that is now in position. So we have the 4 screws here that I was so eager to use earlier. If you are using an electric drill like what I am, obviously I do it a lot just for speed so that my videos are shorter, but just make sure that you set it to the lowest possible torque setting and you do not over tight. You can easily, very easily chew up these screws. That's what mine's set at. If you're unsure, just get it close and then use a manual. Very good. Now, to get the drive shaft back in, again, the same thing. You can either use that tool that I have or one of these and just pop off the tie rod at the top, like so. And then you've got the space to be able to put that in, as you can see, and then pop this on. For those of you that don't own this car right now, I am perfectly aware that WLTOYS have used much stronger ball joints or connectors to the ball joints than usual. They are a right pain to get on. Ugh, as you will now see. Come on. Come on. Oh, I can't, usually I can push it on with just fingertips, but with that I can't. Some of them they're alright. The upper ones of these seem fine, but there you go. So then connect the 2 shocks at the top. Obviously the steering's not connected at the moment, but again, if you now see, that goes forward, which is correct. So now we turn the car around and we do the rear. Can we get in there? Yes, we can. So pop off the shock. One there. I don't know if you see here, have a look at that. I popped it all the way through. What a woolly. Boing. Right, so again on this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. On the 144001, 124017, 018, 016 and 019, we've got 6, both front and rear. So that just shows how much smaller this car is. There is a surprise with this car concerning the a few bits actually fitting the 144001, but I'm not going to tell you about them now because I just want to double check before, and so I don't give you incorrect information, so I'll have a direct comparison between the two. What I will do now quickly is pop off one side. Come on. I'm not going to do that by the looks of it. Wow. Told you they were tougher. So I'm not going to take that ball joint off. I've decided I'm not going to risk snapping something. So again, because we've turned the car around, it goes away from you. So lift it up and get it out. Doink. This end, these come out because they're not connected to the wheels. Look at the rust. That, ladies and gentlemen, is not a quality control issue. That is me driving it in the sea. I don't mind being negative towards these manufacturers if, you know, they've done something wrong or if it's bad quality, but if it's my fault, it's only fair that I accept responsibility for it. Like this here, that's my fault. I drove it into the sea and I didn't rinse it when I got home, which is unlike me. Usually if I drive it into the sea, which has happened more than once. I usually give it a good clean, but oh well. I'm not perfect. So I'm just going to quickly blast through this. Sorry if you noticed the disruption there. I just wanted to stop the cameras and restart them because they've both been a bit weird at the minute. I don't want to lose 30 minutes footage. Okay, you see that we've got 1, 2, 3 shims. I thought it was strange there wasn't 4. There's a 4th there. So okie dokie, so clean inside here. Right, this is a very good thing to be able to show you. See in there, see how there's some mud in there? That means that with my spraying or going into the sea, I've managed to actually get some water into the diff. So make sure you give it as good a clean out as you can. WLTOYS diffs are not 100% sealed, so it is to be expected, but it would be nice if they put a gasket over it and tried to seal it a little bit better. But let's remember the price point, and let's remember, you know, it's not amazing quality. It's not bad. Excellent. Right, now. Away from me. Like so. Again, remember, bearing in place, which it is. Very nice. Cool. Okay, so on. Excellent. Right, so let's do the rears first. Pop it off. Put the dog bone in. Hold it in position. And booyah. And then the 2 shocks back on. That is very loose. I may have to look at a solution for that, but because this one is much tighter to put on. Okay, now back to the front. Oh, come on. Not a lot of room. Excellent. Then that back on. Now we have the steering. Remember the 4 bearings that we had earlier. So 1 on each of the steering columns. Push them down. That one just popped off. Come on, like so. Then both of the steering back on. And the top ones can go on. That's that. So putting it back together is obviously just the reverse. This one needs to go on, so let's just lift you up a little bit. This one's very important because it keeps this bearing in place, so do not forget it. There's that cover, and then wrong way. There we go. When you run it for the first time, make sure that you don't just go full throttle straight away, because you need to make sure that all of the grease is around all of the gears. So just run it very slowly to start with. So at this time, get your controller and put that all the way down, the lower one all the way down to almost 0. If you do have to take your electronics out and you don't know where these 3 wires go, it's pretty much just trial and error. The reason I say that is because these aren't color coded. I've put tape on so I know where they go, but then just, if it goes forward instead of reverse, swap the wires until it goes in the correct direction, and then if it goes slow forward, again change them around until it goes fast forward and slow in reverse. So ladies and gents, done. That is that done. Let's get this in to show that it is done. So we have blue, we have yellow, and we have, I didn't have pink, so I use green. Yeah, I know. Steering will go into the receiver, and it goes, depending on which orientation, over the top, under. Okay. We'll go that way. You see the metal parts? That goes like so. So you've got yellow that way, brown that way. So, controller on. Battery, 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 battery. Cool. Make sure everything is away from the wheels, please. Hello, super quick edit, and then we'll get back to the outro that I've already recorded. Basically, I'd made a mistake, a completely brain-dead faux pas. I put them in the lower 2 rather than the upper 2, which was completely stupid of me, and I don't know why I did that, because I know that they go in the upper 2. Anyway, left and right, and forward, and back. So it is all working as it should. Whoops. Okay, back to the outro. White lithium grease. Make sure that you check your diffs, because that was not enough grease. And then on the next video, we will strip it completely down and put it part to part up against a 144-001. So thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to catch you next time. Take care, stay safe. Bye-bye. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Why is this doing this right now?